In today's episode, we're going to be reacting to some of the strangest videos that I could find on TikTok. Let's get into it.
Yeah, I got a question. Elon himself posted this video. So are we supposed to take this as real? Now people in the comments are saying, oh no, it's a demonstration by CGI to show us what happened. But again, Elon posted it and didn't say anything about it. He actually posted it under the pretense that it was real. You can tell it's real because it looks so fake. So if it's fake and it's CGI, tell me why, because supposedly, allegedly, the space station has a camera on it because they say that this exact video was recorded from the space station. Even this video itself was recorded, allegedly, from above the space station. So if they have cameras on the space station, above the space station, all these places, why wouldn't they get a real video? Why would they use a CGI video in 2025? There's a huge contrast between this video of them stepping foot upon the ISS and then this one showing the docking of the ISS. So if this was real and that seems the way it's supposed to be intended to be, then why does it look like a cartoon? If it's not real and they have all these cameras, why don't we have real footage of this? And they say that soon we'll be going to Mars. Now this video is satire, it's entertainment, it's just a bunch of stupid stuff.
Not even NASA can rightfully explain what people just found in this photo taken by the Curiosity rover on the surface of Mars. At first glance, you'd probably miss it, but zoom into just the right spot, and it's there. Standing out from its surroundings, we see a distinct, smooth, round, shiny metallic object that appears to be floating through the air, and we can even see its shadow beneath it. People are calling it the Tic Tac UAP on Mars, which does look exactly like a lot of the UFOs we've been hearing about and the military's been reporting on here on Earth. Navy pilots have literally used the exact words Tic Tac UAP to describe them, and well, if that ain't a Tic Tac, I don't know what is. This photo is from the Mars Curiosity rover taken on March 3rd, 2020, so we were probably a little preoccupied with something else when this first came out. And as always, yes, it's on NASA's official website. Here we even have an AI checker that tells us it's definitely not altered or AI generated. Strangely too, NASA allegedly removed the original color image from their website and now only have this black and white one up. But if you know where to zoom in, you'll find that Tic Tac exactly where it's supposed to be. Skeptics argue that it's a rock formation or some photography error, but man, it looks exactly like the UAPs that have been reported here on Earth. And if these spacecraft really are as advanced as we claim they are, then there really is nothing stopping them from visiting other planets too.
Have you ever seen a photo that just makes absolutely zero sense? You're about to now, so Scariest Mysteries, Part 3. Mid-1950s, this family were living the American dream. This kid was very, very smart, and they had no idea what was about to happen. Evening, the Cooper family sat down for dinner. There was a babysitter, and the rest of the family was sat at the table. Now, cameras had been around for a while, obviously very basic, and you have to go and get the film developed. There was some newer technology, and they managed to get their hands on it. As I say, the photos are not going to be great quality, so take it with a pinch of salt. Family sit down, the dad brings in the camera and says, guys, check this out, let's take a photo all together, it's crazy. Well, this is the final photo that came out.
That would be
Dated,
terrifying.
signed, developed. What the hell is that in the background? This has been a mystery for years of people saying, what the hell is that? Known as the copper falling body. The family of course said when they took the photo nothing was there, but when they went to get it developed, this appeared in the damn corner. This has been circulating for years with people going crazy, but we kind of actually know what happened. As I said to you earlier, one of the kids was very smart. Reportedly, they wanted to play a prank with this new technology. What this kid did was almost the first ever Photoshop by layering another photo on top of this one before it got developed, which ended up causing this effect where it looked like there was someone falling from the corner to prank the whole family.
I have actually seen that photo before, quite a long time ago, and if this story is true, that's actually really interesting that kid's basically the first Photoshop artist. Pranksters were ahead of their game back then. Hey, if you haven't done so already and you're enjoying the show, give it a like. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. For everyone that's currently watching and or subscribed, thank you guys so much for supporting the channel.
This guy UFO Gerb did a video in 1965 Kecksburg, Pennsylvania UFO crash. They first saw it over the Great Lakes and they said it was like moving. People thought it was an asteroid at first, but then it was like, then when it went over Pennsylvania, it did like a 90-degree turn, crashed in the woods. They got accounts from all these different people. They said it was like the size of maybe like an SUV, like, but it looked like an acorn, and around the rim looked like they had hieroglyphics. And one of the guys who gave this detailed account was a volunteer firefighter. They all thought it was a plane crash. So
Yeah.
they showed up thinking that, okay, we got to rescue people, put out a fire.
Could you imagine?
They said this acorn UFO was just sticking in the dirt, and they're like, what? And he said
be really
within 5
interesting.
minutes, military was there with guns and said,
Get out of here.
get out of here. This is a secure location now. And they were forced off the location.
Lucky they survived, dude.
Yeah, he said that
You
both
can't go
his
there?
son and daughter have joined the military, and they're not able to advance further in the program because their name is attached to their father's, where he's on this list now, to where,
Yeah, it flagged them.
yeah, he's definitely flagged.
It's the list work.
We can all agree that them Germans were up to no good. Near a small village in Poland lies the biggest, darkest secret from World War II. This is Die Glocke, also known as the Bell, a super top secret project of history's most hated political party. Disclaimer, I am in no way promoting nor glamorizing this evil party. This is simply information and a bit of speculation that exists on the internet. I'm just talking about it. But this highly classified technological device was rumored to be capable of doing things that are just impossible with our current understanding of science, and is said to have been made during one of Germany's biggest development booms in history, a time that German scientists and engineers were pumping out new inventions left and right. Things like night vision goggles, the Volkswagen Beetle, polyurethane, particle board wood, and even Fanta were all made by 1930s Germany. And they obviously also pioneered many weapons, missiles, and military technology that were groundbreaking for their time. A lot of their more classified projects were developed in top secret underground layers, many of which have actually been uncovered. In fact, the US was so impressed with their technical expertise that they even poached a few of their country's top engineers after the end of the war in Operation Paperclip, where incriminating affiliation and war crimes committed by smart individuals were dismissed in order to let them gain citizenship and work in the States, bringing over 1,000 German scientists into the US, some of whom even led to the foundation of NASA, like Werner von Braun. Now, beyond just impressive weaponry and other technological leaps, the idea of supernatural wonder weapons was also popularized among the German party, with further rumors of them going out to search for ancient sites and artifacts that held secret powers beyond our understanding in the 1930s. Expeditions for the Ark of the Covenant, the Holy Grail, the Spear of Destiny, and many confirmed missions to Antarctica to find who knows what down there. Even a quest to find Atlantis. These guys were obsessed with the occult and the alleged powers of our ancient past. Not surprisingly, they had a bunch of extremely highly classified projects that never saw the public eye, some of which were even revealed decades later, like in 2000, when Polish journalist Igor Witkowski writes about something that catches people's attention in his book Prawda o Wunderwaffe, The Truth of the Wonder Weapon, which he allegedly gathered from private discussions with wartime intelligence officers regarding highly classified documents from World War II. That would be Die Glocke, the Bell, Germany's take on creating their own wonder weapon, using what they've learned from their searches and study of the ancient past. It was shaped like a bell, about 12 to 14 feet tall, with two counter-rotating cylinders inside, filled with a special metallic liquid that was the main source of its power. This liquid was called Zerum 525. aka Red Mercury. And the Red Mercury rabbit hole is honestly one of my recent favorites. It's pretty wacky, but I might have to dive into that one soon, so watch out for that. When this bell was activated, it would behave as a sort of UFO, moving around without a propulsion system, and even being able to create a radius of anti-gravity around it. It would allegedly also create a zone of effect around itself that made blood clot and plants die. Oh, and could also teleport people into different dimensions and travel through time, all in one. Obviously, it was a work in progress, otherwise they probably would have won the war, so we sure dodged that bullet. And this wasn't even the first time that mystical occult practices by this party were exposed. Back in 1960, a book in France was written called Le Matin des Magiciens, The Morning of the Magicians, which also wrote about top secret German research projects from WW2, which involved alchemy, parallel universes, extraterrestrial communications, and time travel. This structure found in Western Poland is all that allegedly stands of Die Glocke to this day, a sort of man-made Stonehenge that would have contained the bell inside of it during testing, also locally known as Muchołapka, Polish for Venus flytrap. What we do know is that this structure was part of the larger German Project Reese, a construction project consisting of many underground structures initiated by the infamous party in this exact region of Poland. And the true purpose of Project Reese remains unclear due to lack of documentation and an abrupt end to it when the war was over. This is also where it's said the bell was initially found, before being confiscated by the US for further further study, rumored to have been transported to America, where they continued its development with all the scientists they brought over from Operation Paperclip. And many people even insist they actually saw the bell falling from the sky during one of its test runs in the 60s, the Kecksburg UFO incident of 1965, where a giant fireball was seen by hundreds of residents in northeastern USA before crashing in Kecksburg, Pennsylvania. The US military quickly closed off the area during the time of the crash, and it was speculated to have been a test flight of Die Glocke, with many claiming that the craft they saw was bell-shaped, and is why today a bell monument stands on display near the Kecksburg fire station in memory of this incident. But of course, NASA later claimed that it was a Soviet satellite, Cosmos 96, that fell from space, which was the cause of this fireball. Kinda like when they publicly stated the Roswell UFO crash of 1947 was a weather balloon accident, and we found out decades later that was actually a cover story and they lied. But no, don't worry. It's the government. They're definitely telling us the truth this time.
Is everything we're seeing right now biblical? Something extremely strange happened when the blood moon happened, and it hasn't gone back to normal since. Also, I don't know about y'all, but our electronics were glitching like crazy earlier today. And I think I just found out why. According to the Schumann frequency, we are in a complete blackout right now. If you don't know, the Schumann frequency is the resonance of the Earth that's recorded. People have been watching it for years. It peaked really strong shortly after the blood moon, and then it's been offline ever since. Now, this is causing people to think that we just completely switched timelines. Depending on who you are, you might have slept really good and really late, or didn't sleep at all last night. Another thing I've been noticing about these eclipses is like every major storm is following where the April 8th eclipse went, and going right to that direct location. And it's weird because also with the blood moon, it was the Jewish holiday of Purim, where they celebrated the defeat of those trying to massacre the Hebrews. And of course, in Syria right now, they're literally going through the same exact thing. A lot of people won't even be able to feel it, but there's something huge going on right now. Both physically and spiritually, because we see massive hail being rained down in Missouri, like in Egypt when massive hails are raining down on them, and spiritual, the Schumann resonance. And of course with Egypt it was the hail, and then the locust, and then the darkness. I mean, it kind of does feel like we're living in Egypt, right? And by the way, of course, God can use mankind to bring forth His will and whatever that looks like. So I don't know, this has me side-eyed.
Now, I've personally not experienced any electronic issues, but the weather has been pretty crazy. Let me know in the comments, have any of you experienced any technology or electronic issues? Also, did you get to see the blood moon or the worm moon? Me personally, I missed it. But one thing I do know, it seems like there's a lot of really sporadic people all over the road, more than usual. It almost seems like everyone's running late for something. But other than that, nothing abnormal for me.
Not everything is what it seems. The following footage is from a CCTV camera in Brazil. And what it initially appears is that this woman is flung into the air by some mysterious force. But what you don't see is that there's a cable on the ground that yanks her bike backwards and causing her to be flung into the air.
Jeez.
Thankfully, she walked away alive. She was hurt, but this is a case that not everything is paranormal.
Dei o punho, bati a cabeça,
Crazy.
tô com o corpo todo roxo do lado direito, o peito, a tórax assim, não consigo tossir, as pernas tudo roxa, a parte da barriga, a perda material foi grande, meu celular sumiu, o óculos quebrou, a bicicleta quebrou.
Pouco tempo depois do ocorrido, a empresa responsável pelo serviço de telefonia esteve no local.
Well, I'm glad that she's at least all right. And I've seen quite a few videos online where vehicles kind of get snatched off the road, or movements to vehicles happen very odd. And I'm willing to bet that a lot of those cases are probably like this. There's probably some kind of cable on the ground that's getting pulled by another vehicle, and you just cannot see it on cameras. That's really dangerous.
Hey friends, so when I was at the Monroe Institute, we learned a technique called patterning. Patterning is their version of manifestation. It's incredibly effective and powerful. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it and how you can use it to live the life of your dreams. So patterning is based off the concept that our thoughts create our reality, okay? So we are like essentially rendering agents. So the physical body, the physical brain takes information and then renders it into this, kind of 3D, physical reality here. We're like a VR headset. So where does that information come from? Okay, well, therein lies the key to manifestation, because manifestation doesn't happen here, it happens there. Okay, so at the Monroe Institute, we use binaural beats, these hemisync specific tones. You get into a altered state of consciousness. When you do that, you can take your conscious awareness that's usually focused in our physical waking life, and you can transcend this, and you can place that awareness, your conscious awareness, somewhere else. In this case, we go up into the astral realm, and you're in this place that's essentially like a blank canvas, right? It's a blank canvas of unlimited potential. It's a place where you can just create. And when you get there, and anyone can do this, you can do this just in a meditative state, right? You can do this just daydreaming, okay? So when you get into this state, then you can use your imagination to create something. It can be whatever you want. People think if you manifest, it has to be like a thing, like a car or a house. It can be a feeling. It can be health. It can be an emotion. It can be a relationship or an experience. But whatever, say you just want to manifest a car. Okay, so you're in this space and you're basically using your imagination to imagine the car, and you imagine it with such rich detail and crystal clear intention. You know exactly what the car is, you know what it looks like, smells like, everything. You're spinning it around, you're modeling it, you're seeing it. I call it 5D print. You're like 3D printing an object, but you're doing it in the 5th dimension, outside of space and time. And you basically like create it in such rich detail that it's alive, it's real, okay? It exists, and you know inside that thing exists. It's mine, it's just a matter of time, okay? When you do this with enough intensity, you're basically telling the universe that this thing is real, that this is a done deal. And when you're done with that, you have to release all that data into the universe. I use a method based on like the dandelions. We used to call them wishies, like that. You make a wish and blow the thing and all the little whatever go everywhere. I do that in my course, 5D Print Your Reality. When you do that, you're releasing this data, and those little wishy things fly everywhere. They cover and saturate the whole universe, and they take that data to everywhere it needs to go, right? Completely saturate the universe with that data. So no matter where that data is supposed to go, it goes there, okay? And then whenever you come back out to this, physical existence, that data has essentially been downloaded, right, into our matrix, into our physical reality, okay? And now it doesn't just immediately drop out of the sky. It has to integrate into our world as to not make ripples. So you have to just kind of be patient, stay the course, and just know that you did it. You manifested it. It's a done deal. It's a part of our reality, but you have to kind of go down the timeline until you eventually hit it, right? The universe will put it at the right point to where it's not going to make humongous waves. You just have to trust that you will get to your manifestation at the proper time. So don't try to rush it, and don't get discouraged if it takes a little while. The universe knows what's best when it comes to that stuff. But essentially, that's what patterning is manifestation based on the belief that our thoughts create a reality. And you just have to go to this space where you can use your imagination to create whatever it is you want to create, right? And you do it with such emotion and intensity and clear intention. And then when you do that, you release it to the universe, and then essentially that data has been downloaded into the program, and then at a certain point in time, you will get your manifestation, okay? That is a extremely brief overview of what patterning is. And I take that and I basically package it up, including a bunch of my own little tips and tricks and things that I've learned over the years, and put it into a course that I call 5D Print Your Reality. And it walks you through step by step how to do all this and how to manifest anything that you want based on science and proven consciousness research. Okay, so anyways, you should check it out. It's on my website, and let me know what you guys think about this. Have a beautiful day. Peace.
I really enjoy listening to people talk about manifestation and their theories about it. I have heard a lot of theories about manifestation, and if you know me personally, we've talked about manifestation and how I believe manifestation works. Kind of you think about what you want and you kind of work towards it type of manifestation. But within that same reasoning, thinking of what you want and hoping that it happens is still a part of manifestation if you want to work towards it. So it's always good to have something to work towards. Let me know in the comments, what do you want to manifest? Is there anything in particular? Like this guy said, a car, a house, but let me know in the comments.
In the fall of 2022, a TikTok user went viral because she inexplicably started digging a tunnel under her home in the suburbs.
I remember
wearing a dress and pearls and lipstick the entire time. She picked up a pickaxe and a shovel and a jackhammer and just started digging. She had no permits, no permission, or detailed plans. She had no experience or training doing this. Again, she lived in the suburbs. She had neighbors who did not know she was doing this. Thus began a bizarre and harrowing journey, and it does not end the way many of you are thinking it will. She continued digging for weeks and months, basically solving problems as she ran across them. She built a complex minecart, elevator, and chute system to move the tons and tons of waste rock. Her modest suburban home filled with hundreds of bags of concrete and mining equipment as the project became more and more elaborate. What initially she claimed was going to be a storm shelter became a system of tunnels and then a mine. Comments flooded with people either predicting disaster or asking if this was all a hoax somehow. Along the way, she had to stop and figure out how to hook up the electricity and the ventilation and the water removal. She had to figure out on the fly how one woman working alone would pour concrete to form a ceiling. Learning how to weld a sheet metal form for the concrete and how to get the rebar in place. And about once a month, she would go viral on TikTok from people saying, "Why isn't anyone stopping this?" She had created thousands of square feet of empty space, digging further and further underground. What if this all collapsed and created a sinkhole that dragged all of her neighbors' homes down with it? Until finally, predictably, at the end of 2023, sanity prevailed. A TikTok user tracked down her location and reported her to her local authorities. The government came in and shut it down and explained, if you're going to do something like this, you would have to have permits. You would have to have submitted detailed plans and had them approved at every step of the way. Engineers would have to analyze the plans. They would have to visit the site. The process takes months, if not years, and you have to pay thousands of dollars in fees. That's how things work in the real world. The real world is not Minecraft. You can't just pick up a pickaxe and start digging. But as some of you might have expected, that was not the end of the story, because what happens when you tell a person like this that they can't dig without a bunch of paperwork saying that they can do so? The answer is that she went out and did it. She spent all of 2024 going back and forth with the authorities, drawing up detailed plans and getting all of the permits. To her, this was just one more obstacle, no different than running to a particularly difficult layer of rock. She just looked up what needed to be done and did it, and now she has approval to keep digging.
Nice.
Because she understands something that I think very few people do, which is that the stone is not as hard as it looks. The account is called Engineer Everything, though the search bar always just suggests Tunnel Lady.
I remember this creator. I actually think it's pretty cool what she was doing. She's very creative. And I get people's concerns about her digging under her house, but me personally, I think that if it's within her land or her property borders, I think it would be fine as long as she's not putting really anyone other than herself at risk or harm. But it is good that she also went through all the proper protocols to get her permits so she can just do it legally with no complaints. Really cool channel. I would definitely recommend checking it out. I think that it's pretty creative and really entertaining.
Today is March 13th, and I have another message from the aliens. I'm an interdimensional communicator, which means I can talk to angels and aliens and other interdimensional beings. Today I have a message from the entire Galactic Federation channeling as one collective. And as usual, they sent me the message telepathically. I converted it into words on my iPad. I checked in with them to make sure they agreed with my translation, and now it's ready for you. And the message is short, but it's specific, so buckle up. Here's what they have for us today. This weekend will be known as our arrival. We've been in position for some time, and now the conditions are right for us to become fully visible in the sky. In less than 48 hours, there will be reports of our motherships in the global news. We remind you once again, we are not invading or attacking. If we wanted to harm you or steal your resources, we would have done that long ago before you did so much damage to the planet. We are arriving now not to solve your problems, but to assist you in solving your own global, national, and regional problems. We are arriving now not to give you the answers, but to teach you how to find the answers inside you by remembering and calling upon your own inner divinity. We are arriving now because humanity and planet Earth are ascending together. We are arriving now this coming weekend in love. So that was their message for today. Just 48 hours to go till we see motherships in the news, in the skies, in the socials. They did tell me 2 of the cities that they plan to reveal their motherships in first, but I'm not going to share them with you right now anyway, because they told me they do not want people flocking to or from these cities. They just want life to go on as normal as it can until it can't for a little while.
This video has become very popular on TikTok. It's been officially over 48 hours at this point, and as far as I know, there's no viral clips or anything going down of motherships. And there's a lot of people in the comments of this video saying that they're guessing that there's going to be an explanation why it's going to be another 48 hours. I don't think as a content creator, if I made up stories, that I could continue creating content, because no one's going to ever believe you again. But maybe she's not lying. Maybe I'm just not aware of where these motherships are. We will see.
The moon isn't a rock, okay?
Okay.
The first time I ever went over to the moon, at that point, I'd only ever remote viewed on planet, like on Earth stuff. I never even thought of going off planet to remote view. But then this Pleiadian being came into my room and said, you know, there's a meeting in 2 days' time, and I want to take you to this meeting. And I said, okay, like, I'm down. And I wasn't sure, are they going to physically abduct me and take me to the meeting? Like, am I going in my remote view body, like my astral body? And I followed him with my astral body. I'm going off planet. All of a sudden, we're going towards the moon. And I'm like, oh, cool. It's a meeting on the moon. No. It was a meeting inside the moon.
What?
So literally, he keeps going, and then he's going in the moon. And I'm like, can I do this? Like, can we just travel right through, like, a planet? Like, what's going on? And so we go in the moon, and it's hollow. There was this huge hollowed out space in the moon, and there was all these beings, like, we're talking hundreds of thousands of interdimensional beings, like, sitting in this sort of auditorium inside the moon.
What?
I know. And then there was all these astral bodies that were floating around, and I could see that their grounding cord all led them back to Earth. So I'm like, I'm one of the Earth beings that are here, that are called to this meeting. And that was my first introduction to the Galactic Federation.
Man, there sure is a lot of talk of this Galactic Federation happening. And for some reason, this interviewer has been coming up a lot. I think their stories are a little far-fetched, but I kind of think that way about a lot of remote viewers, personally. Let me know in the comments of what you guys think.
I saw something today. It was a video about extinct animals. I'm glad this thing is dead.
What thing?
It's called the giant Cuban owl. They said it went extinct around like 10,000 years ago, but it was an owl, flightless owl.
What's the point?
But it stood 4 feet tall, and it was fast, and it would chase its prey and kill it.
It's a raptor with an owl face. Imagine if they could fly, though. Because then it would be still silent.
But he also talked about, I think we've mentioned multiple times, but the giant sloths.
Oh, yeah. The caves, dude.
He gave a better description. One, their claws, 17 inches long.
Oh, my gosh.
And they said
they were ginormous.
They weighed the same as Asian elephants.
Oh, my gosh.
I assumed
they
it's a
said
sloth. It was slow.
Well, they said it was slow, but its arm movement was quick. So it could have slashed you.
They were the ones that dug rock tunnels.
Yeah.
If we were going to do that, like a hammer, you swing it fast so it has torque and power. But if those things were just brutally strong enough to like dig out a mountain.
And maybe it has like momentum because its arm is so heavy. So maybe it starts slow, but then it's like...
If you have any Bluetooth devices, you're going to want to watch this video right now. You are all watching this on a phone or some sort of device that will have Bluetooth. And I'm sure your friends are, so make sure you share this video with them right now. So we know Bluetooth is essentially magic. Like, I'm not even going to try and explain how it's created. But essentially, recently, they have found some commands, almost like malware, on Bluetooth chips on over 1 billion devices. This just essentially means a version of chip that might be in your phone, your iPad, laptop, TV, headphones, anything. This has basically allowed an entry point for hackers, meaning it's a lot easier to get into your devices through the Bluetooth and then do whatever they want with the device. This could of course pose a lot of threats, such as people being able to get into certain restricted areas in your phone, potentially even banking and other things like that, although I doubt it. But of course also allow hackers to interfere and put malwares and viruses on your devices, meaning you can't use them again, so that's not good. Now, they were able to get this malware essentially onto these chips due to the companies creating the devices and the chips not actually putting the right procedures in place, so this can't happen. Also, if you do have one of these chips that is infected, if you go and connect to public Wi-Fi, it will literally spread. So if then any other people connect to the Wi-Fi, they'll be able to get into those phones as well, which is scary. It is scary, but things like this do happen quite a lot, so just make sure you share this with your friends. Stay safe, it will be fine, I will keep you updated.
Gnomes are a hot topic right now, especially in the state of Utah. This family claims to have seen this gnome in their yard, and they actually started exchanging gifts with it. We'll take a look at another resident's security camera. He thinks he actually captured a gnome or duende on his Nest camera. In reviewing the footage, it is a small unidentified being. But is it a gnome or is it something else? Take a look at this. This is probably some of the best footage ever seen of what looks to be a gnome, duende, or the little people.
I live in Utah, and I love it here, but we moved here about 8 months ago from Vegas, and it's been amazing. However, my husband and my son, he's 12, he's almost 13, they have noticed that there has been a weird little gnome. I'm gonna sound freaking crazy for saying this. There's a weird little gnome in our backyard that just apparently runs back and forth and up the things. And I'm like, I have not seen this. And it is weird.
That's a skunk. And that guy was running because of the skunk. Yeah, that's a skunk. This whole gnome or duende thing has really taken the internet by storm lately. It's almost like every other video is potentially a duende or a gnome. This was definitely a skunk.
Microsoft has created a new state of matter. It's not liquid, it's not gas, and it's not a solid.
Flubber.
It is called topological state, or Majorana particle. It's a phase of matter that only exists at the quantum level. And so they're basically using this new state of matter to create the Majorana 1 chip, and it has the potential to hold more computing power than every other computer combined on Earth. And it's the size of your hand.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But the big problem with the quantum computers is that they're operating at like 1,000 bits or whatever. To achieve the full potential of a quantum computer, they need to be achieving 1,000,000+ bits. And this new state of matter will allow them to achieve that.
Golly, dude, that's scary.
It has different conductive properties. It's exponentially faster.
You want me to play the audio of the lady actually explaining it so we have a better understanding?
Would love to.
Okay.
Can you change it to a man's voice?
Watch it.
And this year, we're able to control it and use its unique properties to build a topoconductor that operates as a superconductor. With this material, we can build a whole new foundational architecture for our quantum computers. A topological core, all in the palm of your hand.
Mathematically, it's possible to have a particle that is its own antiparticle. That means you can take two of these particles and you bring them together, and they could annihilate and there's nothing left.
Anyway, speaking of Project Paperclip.
Well, the real question is, can it run Crisis? For any gamers out there, you get that reference. Alright guys, I'm gonna go ahead and end today's video. As always, I want to thank you guys for watching these clips with me today. And with that being said, have a good day.